And greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 2 of the Mega Man 2 Let's Play. So last part, we defeated Heat Man and got access to the Atomic Fire, which is the weakness of our next Robot Master, Woodman. Woodman, as you can tell, is set in the forest, lots of green and brown everywhere. And it also sports one of my favorite themes in the entire game. Well, I think it's just called Woodman's theme, actually. But, just to comment on the soundtrack for a second, it's great stuff. I like just about every single sound piece in this game. Like, Mega Man 1 had a few, classics like Cut Man or Elect Man. And I believe that's... Well, no, Wily Fortress 1 was pretty good, too. But for Mega Man 2, I like just about every single track in this game. Specifically Woodman, Flash Man, and, obviously Wily Fortress Stage 1. And all that kind of stuff. It's just a great listen. If you ever get the chance, and assuming you like 8-bit chiptunes to begin with, give it a listen to. I think you will not be disappointed. Anyway, in terms of Woodman stage itself, I actually think it's rather simple. There are some playthroughs where I actually go Woodman first, whether it's normal or difficult, because I find the enemies here to be pretty easy to get around. The only, real threats and that you fight 3 times in this one stage is the blue cats, dogs. I don't know what they're supposed to be. They go relatively, they're taken down real easily with the Mega Buster, or in this case, the Quick Boomerang, which, is awesome stuff too. It's I noticed that you guys in previous videos mentioned that the Quick Boomerang in of itself does around the same damage as the Mega Buster's regular shot, which kind of questions its usefulness to begin with. But I don't know. I think some enemies might be weak to the Quick Boomerang in general, which is why it probably does so much damage to begin with. Like, I know the Quick Boomerang takes down the Toads in Bubble Man stage much faster than the Mega Buster. And for certain Robot Masters, it's just easier to hit with, I think. Like in Bubble Man's case, anyway. They end up to each his own. Anyway, the weapon I'm showing off is the weapon we got from Bubble Man, which is the Bubble Lead. I obviously showed it off to take care of Heat Man last part, but we can also use it to take care of these bunnies. These rabots, if you could say, real easily. And we're at the home stretch here, and the last enemy encounters we have are these hopping roosters, chickens, fire chickens. Don't bother wasting your ammo on them. They actually have a pretty simple strategy. After they take a few steps, they always hop. So just make sure you're under them when they're over you, and you should be fine. So Woodman, son of a bitch. All right. So, first, rule of thumb, do not do what I just did before fighting Woodman. Atomic Fire can be charged up. Once you start blinking white, that's when you can unleash its full power. Woodman will go down in 2 fully charged Atomic Fire blasts. It is that freaking powerful against Woodman. However, I thought I was getting the preemptive by having the weapon charged before going inside the boss room, but unfortunately, as soon as Mega Man entered the room, the game acted as if I let go of the weapon button, and as you saw, the Atomic Fire just went flying to the right harmlessly. So I wasted ammo. Don't do that. But Woodman in of itself, it can be actually pretty difficult if you're not very good at avoiding the Leaf Shield, which is his main weapon. And not only that, Woodman hurts. I think it only takes Woodman 4 shots of Leaf Shield or just 4 body contacts to kill Mega Man in general. That's not a lot. But Woodman is also weak to metal blades. You can always use that in case you don't have the Atomic Fire at this point in time. But in order to get the metal blades in the first place, we need to tackle this stage. This is Metal Man. Metal Man is often like I mentioned in the last part, is often the first Robot Master that many people go after, if only because of the weapon you can get from Metal Man, which is the metal blades. The stage in of itself, though, is pretty simple. It's not just because you get the metal blades at the end of after defeating Metal Man. The stage is really easy to get past. Even more easy if you, come prepared with other weapons. Like I have the conveyor belts in this section. I can use the Leaf Shield to bypass the little spikes and pick up the spoils that just happen to drop. By the way, the Leaf Shield is also great stuff too. When you press the button, you get these 4 leaves surrounding Mega Man, and it won't leave until you decide to launch the thing in one of 4 directions. You can launch it up, down, or left and right. Besides that, though, it makes mincemeat of a lot of smaller enemies, and we'll be seeing some use out of it for I believe Airman, or maybe later down the road. I think I might be using the Metal Blades for that instead. But yeah, in terms of Metal Man stage, and as you saw earlier, like the stage practically just gives you an energy tank right when the stage starts. That's another reason why people like to go Metal Man first, because of that gimme E tank. Personally, I find the one Flashman stage to be pretty easy to get to, which is why I have no problem going Flashman first. And really, the enemy selection in Metal Man stage is nothing to get worried about. The only exception is that asshole right there. It just hit me. When you're playing the game in difficult mode, or, you know, the original difficulty to begin with, every time you shoot him, he unleashes those 3 little sections that he's made of. And those hurt. I think it took about a fourth of Mega Man's total health, so yeah, do what you can to try to shoot the eyes, obviously, that's its weak point. And then when it launches those, try to position Mega Man so you don't get hit by the falling blocks, because they do hurt. And you got more of these proximity Roombas. Whip out your quick boomerang and take care of them pretty easily. I believe I read a comment somewhere last part that the Crash Bomber is also really good for taking care of them, but I do not have the Crash Bomber at this point in time, which we'll be getting it later though. I am running low on health, and while Metal Man can be pretty simple to take down, especially if you know how it works, I think I'm gonna bite the bullet on this one. I'll see what I can do though first. Metal Man will shoot metal blades every time Mega Man shoots his weapon himself. If you attempt to get close to Metal Man, he will jump to the opposite side. While he is jumping to the opposite side, he will attempt to attack you with a single metal blade. But besides that, it's just a matter of timing. Once you realize that Metal Man only shoots metal blades once Mega Man shoots something, then you should be able to properly time your shots and be able to get the jump on Metal Man. His weakness is the quick boomerang, but some would argue that it's actually easier to take him down with just a regular Mega Buster. You know what? I think I would agree on that one, if only because you have more range with the Mega Buster. Quick boomerang, you know, goes a bit forward and then it comes back to you. Really the only downside to the quick boomerang. But we just got access to the metal blades, ladies and gentlemen. The most disgusting weapon in the entire game, for reasons we'll get into as we move along. Anyway, this is Airman. Airman is another Robot Master people like to go after first because he has a distinctive distaste for the Mega Buster. It's also relatively easy to take down with it. I don't blame you if you go him first. But if you do that, just Mega Man bare bones and all that stuff, then you have to be a little careful when it comes to traveling in Airman stage. Airman is way up in the sky, and as such, we got a lot of bottomless pits. You know, really easy to fall down there and sort of from knockback every once in a while. And what I'm doing right now is I'm showing off the awesomeness of the metal blades. The metal blades can be fired in 8 directions. You heard me right, 8 directions. He can shoot metal disc in 8 directions, but not as Mega Buster. Use metal blades to take care of these floating Zeus robots real easily. And you can also make mincemeat of these little robots that like to materialize from these eggs. So that's a really good place to grind energy health. I mean health in general, and weapon energy. In fact, one of the reasons why I like going this way, you know, the Robot Master order I like to go to, is because I like to use the Flash Stopper in the beginning of the stage to bypass those platforms harmlessly. Because those platforms with the faces that materialize, they have these 2 horns that pop up on the left and right side of the screen, and they're really picky when it comes to jumping over them. Most of the time, you're not going to make it. You're going to get hit, and you risk falling down the bottomless pit because of the resulting knockback. With the Flash Stopper, obviously, though, you don't have to worry about that, as I will demonstrate right now. Flash Stopper stops the drills in place, so now you can just harmlessly jump through them, no problem. This is something I like to do. But that's one of the reasons why I just like Mega Man 2 in general, because you can be so versatile with the weapons in themselves. You know, and if you find yourself running low on... I don't like it when that happens, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If you find yourself running low on weapon energy, you know, you can grind those birds until you're maxed out. You should always enter Airman stage with full health, if only because of those damn birds. And I don't know what happened to that air blower. I'm guessing the sprite limitations just kind of made him disappear. Good stuff. No, not really. It's just archaic. Alright, Airman is weak to Woodman's Leaf Shield. Really weak to Woodman's Leaf Shield. I tell you a strategy for dealing with him normally, but I'm not. I'm taking him down with the weakness. Oh, Airman likes to shoot tornadoes, and he has to shoot 3 patterns of tornadoes. And I'm not sure if they're random or if there's some pattern I'm not aware of, but if you stick to the opposite end of the room and assess what the pattern of the tornado is, then you should be able to jump accordingly and avoid damage. But as you saw right there, Airman goes down like a bitch with a leaf shield, and that's it. You listen to the music closely. It's actually missing, I think, the drum instruments, because I ended the battle with the leaf shield on, which for some reason or another messes up the sound chip when we're looking at the weapon get screen. But by defeating Airman, we got the air shooter, which I incorrectly referred to as the Tornado Blow. I think I was thinking of Mega Man 9 when I said that weapon out loud. But we also get item 2, which is that hoverboard I mentioned in Heatman stage. Don't really need it now because I already beat Heatman at this point in time. But you know, it's a little hoverboard that you ride on, and it keeps going and going and going until it runs out of weapon energy. It's good for bypassing Heatman's disappearing block corridor that we saw earlier. And if you can find any other use for it, then by all means give it a shot. It's good to experiment with these weapons. But now we have our final robot master of the game. This is Crash Man, or Clash Man, as I think it depends on the region. Personally, I think it has something to do with the, you know, mix and mashing up of the L's and R's. You know, that usually happens when you're importing something from Japan to America and vice versa. Whatever. We know him as Crash Man, so I will refer to him as Crash Man. Crash Man is pretty much this game's Elect Man in terms of stage design. It's mostly vertical climbing. And as such, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I think the stage sort of drags a bit. Not too much though, especially when you have the likes of Item 1 before going in the Crash Man stage, which makes your own platforms, as I am demonstrating. You can get rid of the cylinder enemies first before even doing this, because sometimes they can, you know, get a little uncomfortably close, and you want to make sure they're dead before you begin to bypass this little section right here with Item 1 to begin with. However, if you decide to ride the platforms, you know, along these rails, then I would just recommend using Woodman's Leaf Shield. Just remain stationary and let the shield do its job for you. Really, really simple stuff. Ah. Yeah, again, that enemy only does that in the difficult mode. In normal mode, you can shoot him anywhere and he'll just stand there until you defeat him. And that's one of the only enemies I know that behaves differently depending on what difficulty you choose. Yeah, police sirens in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully you can't. And this little climbing section right here, you can use the flash stopper, get the preemptive on the Matools. Well, the Matools won't be a problem to begin with. However, the most annoying part here is the birds. They just like to drop that egg and unleash 6 to 7 little miniature birds that can really mess up your climbing ability, because, you know, once Mega Man takes a hit, he's going down, and the last thing you need right now is to get to the very top, then take a pot shot from a wandering bird and then knocks Mega Man down a screen or two. If you have Woodman's Leaf Shield, though, you should be fine. And again, this is also a good place to grind for weapon energy, because you can stand on that platform that shooting enemy was just standing on. You know, emit the Leaf Shield and just grind the birds until you're at full health. You'll probably refill some weapon energy too for some weapons that you might have used, like the flash stopper in my case, or maybe Item 1. And by climbing up that specific ladder, we get another energy tank. Sexy, sexy energy tanks. Really is a shame they can only carry 4. I'm guessing Mega Man just didn't use using a fanny pack. I don't know. I don't know. Now these little enemies right here, they go down really easily with the metal blades. I think the metal blades are actually the only weapon that killed them in one shot. I think the Mega Buster takes about 3 to 4, same with the quick boomerang. I haven't really experimented with any other weapon though, so I don't know how they react to the air shooter or the atomic fire. But we have reached the end of the stage. This is Crash Man. Crash Man really does not like the air shooter. In fact, the air shooter in itself shoots 3 separate tornadoes. If you can get Crash Man in the center of that shot, you're gonna take him down really, really quickly. Just like that, Crash Man has been defeated. Booyah. And with the final Robot Master done and over with, we get access to the Crash Bomber, a weapon that we only get 7 shots of, and I got a feeling it's going to be pretty mandatory for the next part. The finale of Mega Man 2 will air on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you guys then. Take care.